Convene this meeting of the Centreville Town Council. Everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I want to start, it's not on the agenda, welcoming back Councilmember Anania from
Thank you.
a few months of maternity leave. It is wonderful to have you back, and it's good to have a full complement of council members up here once again. With that, we'll go into a review of minutes from the October 21st, 2021 meetings. Any changes need to be made, or hear a motion to accept those minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Thank you. I'll read a closed session statement regarding a Town Council closed session November 4th, 2021. The Town Council met in closed session on Thursday, November 4th, 2021 at 6:15 p.m. at the Liberty Building, 107 North Liberty Street, second floor meeting room to discuss personnel and land acquisition in accordance with the Maryland Open Meetings Act. 5 members of the Town Council voted to close the session. The authority to close the session is found in Section 3-305 of the General Provisions article. The Town Council discussed the following topics: personnel. We interviewed candidates for boards and commissions. And land acquisition. We discussed potential acquisition of land. There were no actions taken. The following members and staff were present: Stephen Klein, President; Jeffrey D. Keel, Vice President; Shelby C. Anania; Eric B. Johnson, Jr., and Ashley H. Kaiser, members; Steve Walls, Town Manager; Chip Kugel, Interim Town Manager; Sharon Van Emberg, Town Attorney; and applicants for boards or commissions were present for a portion of the meeting. The meeting adjourned at 7:00 p.m. All right, we'll now move into Citizens Forum. Citizens are requested to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Anybody sign up? Don't think anybody's signed up. Does anybody want to speak from the floor? All right, great. Appearances? Do we have any appearances tonight? I don't think so. All right, old business. We'll start with Ordinance 12-2021. I'll just read quickly from the header of this in council members' packets. An ordinance of the Town Council of Centreville to amend the town's zoning ordinances codified as Chapter 170 of the Town Code to allow the planned unit development district as an overlay zoning district in the traditional neighborhood district, to amend the traditional neighborhood district provisions and all regulations that accompany in order to administer and enforce the town's zoning ordinance more effectively. This comes to us with the favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. You happy to take a motion to accept, or?
If I can make a comment, I, as I'm sure you all did, went through with a fine-tooth comb, and I can attest to the fact that all of the cosmetic and substantive changes that were recommended last time are reflected. So, from that standpoint, it looks good.
Thank you. The favorable recommendation is included in the last page of the ordinance, the letter from Chairman Brown of the Planning Commission.
I make a motion to accept the favorable recommendation of the Planning Commission and pass Ordinance 12-2021.
Thank you. Second?
I will second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
All right. Carries 4-1. Move into Ordinance 13-2021. An ordinance of the Town Council of Centreville to amend the town's subdivision regulations codified as Chapter 138 to include provisions regulating WUNRFs, to revise the sidewalk standards, to allow the Planning Commission to grant flexibility in the general street standards for planned unit development projects, and all regulations that accompany in order to administer and enforce the town's subdivision regulations more effectively. This also has been reported favorably by the Planning Commission.
I make a motion to accept the favorable recommendation of the Planning Commission and pass ordinance number 13-2021.
I second.
All right, the ordinance has been motioned and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries 4-1. We will now move into new business. Start with Resolution 8-2021, the Educational Equivalency Policy Career Ladders Update.
Good evening.
For you.
Good, how are you?
Good.
I just wanted to bring to your attention the resolution 08-2021 regarding the education equivalency policy. So the town, currently does not have an education equivalency policy, and current trends within the government workplace considers years of experience as a substitute for years of education. Research, was conducted, and based on these findings, staff recommends implementing an education equivalency policy and revising the education and experience requirement in the department career ladders, which were originally approved back in 2014. The benefit of implementing this policy allows for a wider pool of candidates with extensive work experience to apply for positions that would normally require a degree without equivalency. Included with this memo are the drafts for each of the department career ladders. I do have the track changes in there so you can see what is being changed. Staff does recommend using 3 years of experience to 1 year of education as the equivalent standard, in addition to any minimum years of experience required as specified on the career ladders. And then I put in a box below in the memo as an example of this recommendation. So for instance, a position that requires an associate's degree, which is 2 years equivalent, and a minimum of 6 years of relevant experience required for that position would equal 6 years of experience, education equivalent, plus 6 years of relevant experience to equal 12 years of experience total. So that's my recommendation, or our recommendation. And if you have any questions regarding any of the career ladders, I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Well, it's clear that the staff has put a lot of time into this. It's very thorough work here, so thank you for that. I know the council spent a little bit of time on this in the past, so hopefully this is not new information for anybody. And I believe we can move this tonight.
I move to approve implementation of the education equivalency policy of 3 years of experience to 1 year of education and to amend the department career ladders.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to say that I am in strong favor of this and appreciate all the work you've put into it. I think the ability to attract talent right now is difficult, and to retain staff, and I think this will be a huge help, so thank you for all the work that you did.
Yes, thank you.
And if I can just add, it looks like, and this is not a bad thing, that while doing this, we also cleaned up some things in that, and I just think that's great. Our new town manager has made comments about if we're gonna dig up the ground, then let's put something in it while we're doing it, kind of thing. And so, good on you for all that work, and getting a lot more done than just what the intent was.
Sure, not a problem. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move into end-of-year decisions.
Do I need to, I'll just stay here. Normally Carolyn handles the end of year decisions, so I will take a stab at it. So the following recommendations that can be adopted individually, partially, or in their entirety is the employee holiday bonus, which is the $100 bonus. And then I guess, so we also do like the $15 Acme gift card for Thanksgiving or turkey Usually we do that every year, but, and then the $100 bonus is towards the end in December, for the end of year. Typically when, in the past, pre-COVID, we had employee breakfasts, and that's when those would be hard checks distributed to the employees. So we are looking for recommendation to continue that extra benefit for our employees, as well as just consideration of the whether, what council would like to do for the December 16th town council meeting. It's kind of a question mark on what your thoughts are for whether a town council meeting you would like to have held. I think years past, it kind of depends upon what's on the agenda or what's, being tabled.
Can we hold the decision on the 16th in advance until a future meeting?
Table that?
I agree.
I am for. We can get some consensus around the employee holiday bonus and the employee Christmas breakfast, unless people are opposed to that.
For it.
Easy.
All right, so we'll take care of two of the top three things there.
Thank you.
Maybe.
And I didn't mention, but just to put it on record, that it is currently, we would like to have it scheduled for Friday, December 10th, for the employee Christmas, or the employee breakfast, at the Centreville Wharf Building on the second floor at 8:30 in the morning. So that's just to put it on record. Additional items to consider or discuss is January 22nd. I'm sorry.
I know Carolyn didn't have it listed, but were you?
I have it down here.
Have it down?
Yeah,
You
for
were
additional,
covering items, okay.
yeah, I have the additional items for discussion. It wasn't listed in here, but I did put it on here, so wanted to get council's consideration regarding continuing observing Juneteenth Day, which was federally approved in June 19th of 2021. It was one of those very very quick decisions when it was announced, and council did approve it at the time for employees to observe it. And it happened to just be the very next day. So it was short notice for a lot of agencies to get this information. So I just wanted to get council's, recommendation on considering whether to continue observing Juneteenth Day, and if so, to have that updated in our holiday schedule that we have in our personnel manual.
The personnel manual has federal holidays and then lists them.
Yes.
I think it's a federal holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree.
Okay. Let's see here. And then, so I know that this year, so I did print out our current holiday schedule, and I know that Christmas Day is observed on Christmas Eve this year, actually. So it's being observed on a Friday. Years past, and it's more of what council is wanting to decide on. I know years past, typically we would get like a half a day for Christmas Eve. I think one year we had a full day. I think it depends upon what day it typically lands on, but I wanted to at least make council aware for consideration of, because Christmas Day is actually being observed on Christmas Eve, if there was anything that council would like to do for Christmas Eve.
Last year.
Eve.
Yeah.
I think
Last year, I was the one who made the motion to give a full day at Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And if nothing else, maybe that can be my legacy, my time on the council. I think I'm for a full day off on Christmas Eve.
agreed.
Eve in this
Eve.
case, but
Christmas
the holiday.
Eve.
23rd.
So it's Christmas Eve observed.
23rd, Christmas
Okay.
Eve.
I think that's,
And can I just make a comment on that? And this is a positive thing, but just to reinforce that action and underscore it for folks that might be dialed in or sitting in the audience. I think we can all agree, and I know most of us are aware of this, but just everything that we have been dealing with the pandemic and having to go to virtual meetings, the complexity of that. People are tired, they're worn out, and what a great way to end the year and say thank you and kind of recognize that. So,
could not agree more with that.
Yeah, I think employees will be very appreciative. We thank you. Just Just to go over the last two items to consider or discuss. Annual appreciation dinner is typically held in January. So this is for January 22nd, 2022, slated for the annual appreciation dinner location at the American Legion. If there's any recommended changes we would like to discuss. And then also gifts for volunteers that are on the boards and commissions. Carolyn typically will reach out to council to see if there's any additional suggestions or ideas as far as gift ideas. We're very appreciative of our volunteers on our boards and commissions. They take a lot of time to help the town. And so typically every year Carolyn will put together having different types of gifts to give to them during the appreciation dinner. I think in the past we've had blankets or with the town seal. We'll have I think one year we had really cool umbrellas that had the town of Centreville on it. Sometimes it'll be, oh goodness.
I'm sure you guys have done cups and
yeah, we've done a lot of different things.
tumblers.
I think Turvis tumblers. I'm just trying to think of whatever I kind of try to dip into to help employees for their milestone rewards.
Real nice canvas bag the year that I
Yeah,
was able to
yep.
go, and then it was I think a $15 Centreville dollars.
Right, the Centreville dollars, right. So Carolyn is always, appreciative of any kind of other suggestions to change, to have something new and fresh every new year for those volunteers. So she wanted to reach out to council. If you have any
Thank you.
suggestions.
Not off the top of my head, but thank you for the time.
Not a problem.
We'll move on to, is that everything?
Yes, yeah, I didn't know if there was any decision that had to be made for the appreciation.
Only if they, feel that, that date works.
Oh, if that date works, okay.
Strive for working around that date.
Guess you'd have to check.
My suggestion, if we're all okay with it, would be let's maybe go ahead and approve the first item, and then if we don't have a plan yet for what the gifts could be, come back with that before.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay,
One for the appreciation dinner.
Yeah.
okay. And the date is fine for her to proceed with the January 22nd? Okay, 2022. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to what might be KIP for on-call utility and street construction services.
Hello.
How are
Shelby,
you?
welcome back.
Thank you.
Very
Good
nice
to see you.
We solicited for bids for on-call services from contractors ranging from street repairs, concrete repair, utility repairs. Purpose of this was to give us a bid process, and if we have something that comes up that doesn't necessarily have the time to go out to bid, whether it's a repair or it's a small job, we were able to go to bid and get prices pre-construction or pre-project. That's what you have before you. There were three bidders, Coppage Paving, Middleton's Construction, and Retallick and Son. Bid sheets attached there, and staff is recommending, we've reviewed the bids, and we're recommending that you allow us to move forward with this as we do our job around town. When we call for these on-call services, we'll start with the lowest bidder, depending on how time-sensitive it is and those type of issues. So,
Any questions for KIP? Steve, anything else?
It is intended to, these prices are good for 1 year. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any correspondence for this week? Nope. All right. We'll move into reports of boards and commissions. We'll start with the Maryland Municipal League.
I have no report.
No report. Council of Governments.
No report. I have a meeting next, the 10th,
All right.
the next COG meeting.
Park Advisory Board.
So one thing I wanted to report, and Steve, I might need your help with this. We are going to be asking volunteers to come together to help light the town for all the Christmas lighting. And last year we had a great amount of volunteers. It was fun, and we got it done in a couple hours, and the town looked beautiful. So anyone who's available can come out. And I believe it's Sunday after Thanksgiving at 12 o'clock in Town Square. Is that correct? Okay, perfect. So anyone who wants to come out and help string some lights, please do. We could use all the help and get the town just ready for the holidays. That's all I got.
All right. Economic development.
So I'm still hoping to have an opportunity to meet with our Economic Development Director, as was suggested in my memo presented at our last meeting. In the meantime, as I've shared with her, we have an opportunity to meet with interested folks from Symphony Village for basically a feedback session that'll be this coming Monday, November 8th, 3:30 p.m. at their clubhouse. Really just, it's an opportunity to kind of hear from some of the folks that have that background, prior to retirement, who have some interesting ideas, suggestions, things they think that we need to continue doing. So I don't envision this being something where it's going to be a lot of negativity that'll be shared. I think there's going to be some suggestions for some sustains, things that we need to continue doing. But it'll also be a great opportunity to hopefully recruit another one or two members for CETA. So we're going to kind of get a feel for how energized these folks are, and maybe get some interest there. So that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Planning Commission has not met since our last meeting, so no report there. We'll move into reports of department heads. Start with Town Manager.
Yes, we hired a part-time code enforcement officer, so we'll be conducting some training, for that individual. And I guess the Wheaton Street construction projects is going very well. They have installed the sewer and water lines. Today they actually conducted a pressure test on the water line, and everything went well, so that's good. And following up on typical zoning matters. So that's my report.
Thank you. Chief of Police.
I am pleased to report to the legislative body that the Centreville Police Department successfully passed the federal 1033 program audit for the surplus military equipment that was received by the police department many years ago. The auditors came in from across the country and ran their checks and balances, and everything was actually perfect. So kudos to Lieutenant Mule for facilitating that inspection. To coattail off of that, we received, after the audit was finished, we received authorization to proceed with the transfer of the four-wheel drive Humvee rescue vehicle, which was transferred through that same program, the 1033 program, from the Office of the Sheriff of Queens County to the Centreville Police Department. So we actually brought it to the police department yesterday, and it we're going to need to put some new batteries in it and maybe a fresh coat of paint, but short of that, we're hoping to have it operational by winter. And then busy week at the police department. Our speed trailer, which was approved for purchase by council, was delivered last night around 8:30 last night, and we're delighted to have that resource. As some of you may recall, we had a speed trailer in years past, which just kind of became a bit dilapidated, and we have a new speed trailer, which is a great resource for us for when we receive calls about speeding vehicles. It's a great tool. Has a lot of built-in collection and analysis of speeds and times of day where speeding vehicles are traveling the roadways. So we can kind of use that, which frees up our patrol officers to go out and be a little bit more proactive. And then, of course, the data that's received from that onboard computer, that really gives us an idea of what's going on in a particular area. So if we do need to go out and take some enforcement action, we can do that. So It's a great tool. It's actually at the bottom of the hill. So if you leave here tonight and you go over 10 miles per hour, there's going to be some red and blue lights that are going to light up.
I'm gonna try it.
So you're going to try that. Yeah. So we are not giving away gift cards with whoever has the highest speed and post it on TikTok. So we discourage that behavior.
Darn it.
And then finally, our department review for the month of October will be prepared and presented to council during the next regular meeting. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Town Attorney.
I have nothing.
Public Works Director. All right. Finance Officer, Human Resources, okay? Town Clerk.
No report.
All right, we'll go into our second Citizens Forum. All right, Council Roundtable. We'll start with Council Member Kaiser.
Sure, all I've got is just to encourage you all to come to First Fridays tomorrow in the town square from 6 to 8:30. I think it should be a pretty good second First Fridays for Centreville. Hoping to have the awesome turnout we had last time and just look forward to seeing the community out.
Councilmember Johnson.
So just to tag on to what Ashley shared, I know this is minutia, but the kids that might be dialed in, I know there's a lot of them to this meeting. We'll have an additional arcade game that has multiple options on it. The outdoor arcade was a big hit, and I think will continue to be. And of course, we replicated that at Centreville Day. And we're already seeing businesses that are staying open a little bit later than what would be typical, and not just restaurants. So that's something that I have shared with Paige is a good economic development indicator. So that's something that I know Ashley and I take on as very important with this event, is to start to develop some measurable objectives and some good data that we can continue to present as this evolves. So that's all I got.
Excellent. Councilmember Anania.
Nothing to report, but I just wanted to say I'm happy to be back from maternity leave, and I look forward to getting to know Eric and Ashley and working with you guys.
Thank you.
Vice President Keel.
I've been tasked with the dog park. I guess I acquired it from a past council person, so I'm going to be tackling that in the next several months and see where we can go.
Have you spoke with Mike Whitehill about that?
Mike Hill is going to send me some things.
Okay.
So yes, I spoke with him. But there's a big push for it. A lot of people want it, so see what we can do.
Apparently, from what Fred McNeil shared recently, and you may already be on this,
I
Joan
spoke with
Brooks
him.
at
Yep.
Parks and Recreation is, I don't know what her role in that is or expertise is, but
Yep.
there was a hard push for that.
The only other thing I talked to a couple of citizens about some issues with their tax bills and their water bills and all that, so I actually contacted them back and they liked the answer I gave them, so.
What was that? So we can-
One was the flush tax. They thought just the people in the town of Centreville paid it.
That's a
So-
good clarification.
Yes.
Here, here.
That's it.
Look forward to the county paying for that dog park. That's going to be an exciting time.
You know they're all going to use it, right?
I will just note for our citizens who might be tuning in or tuning in later that we have multiple vacancies on multiple boards and commissions. So if you want to qualify for those jazzy gifts that we're going to give out in January, please be in touch with a council member or email the town. We've got vacancies on the Planning Commission, both regular and alternate. We have an alternate for the Zoning Board of Appeals, and we have members for the Personnel Review Board. So if you want to get involved in your town, now is the time. And with that, I'll yield back my time and accept a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.